been trained in the ballpark. Looking like you're riding through Beirut next to some kid with purple hair, next to some queer with AIDS, right next to some dude who just got out of jail for the 4th time, right next to some 20-year-old mom with 4 kids. It's depressing. Rocker claims he was taken out of context. Hard to see how, but we weren't there.
I mean, all he did was express an opinion, a bad opinion maybe, but they called it racist.
Even though there isn't a reference to race anywhere in what he said, the court of public opinion had spoken, and Major League Baseball agreed. He got suspended, fined, and sentenced to mandatory sensitivity training.
And his career was in the proverbial toilet. That was in that nobody ever hears from him anymore.
Think again, Beverly Boo.
Hi, I'm John Rocker, former Major League Baseball player. Played 12 seasons professionally, now I'm retired.
Pretty cool, huh? We got John Rocker. Okay, it wasn't that hard. Rocker now sells real estate in Atlanta. We pretended we wanted to buy a house. Do you think he's still pissed about how one article in a magazine nearly ruined his life?
Certainly painted a picture of me, which I definitely am not. I was vilified as hating the entire city of New York and being a racist to the nth degree.
Actually, the press and some TV personalities called him a racist, white trash redneck, which is exactly the kind of shit they were busting him for saying. And please remember, there isn't one fucking reference to race in what Rocker said.
Lived with a lot of Latino players, lived with a couple of black players, and was great friends with all of them. All those people, try to come forward and say, one article does not make a person's character.
And off to sensitivity training he went, and boy, did it help him.
It was a complete farce. I went to one session, I sat there 30 minutes, and I got up and left. And never heard anything from the league or the gentleman that was conducting the sensitivity training, and that was the beginning and the end of it. And I feel like a much more rehabilitated person this day.
So, it didn't make him a better person?
No, I did not come out of the session with a better understanding of minorities or homosexuals. I did not. It was completely ludicrous and a complete waste of my time.
Teller has never said anything racist, sexist, anti-gay, or anti-New York City. He's the picture of tolerance. Have the New York Yankees ever called Teller to play ball for them? No, assholes. Breaking Teller's heart. So if it's as stupid back-asswards as it seems, you'd think corporate America wouldn't bother with this shit. But in fact, according to a study published at WashingtonPost.com, U.S. businesses spend between $200 and $300 million a year on diversity training. So what is it? Is it some kind of law?
As a rule, corporations aren't legally required to have sensitivity training.
Say what?
David Bernstein, law professor, George Mason University. The only exception is when they get sued for discrimination. Sometimes part of the settlement is that they have to have some sort of diversity training or sensitivity training.
Yes, court ordered. The pieces are falling into place. Companies are doing the sensitivity training just to stay out of court. They don't care if the shit Mercedes shovels works. They're not making their employees waste their time in these seminars because they believe in the idea. It's intimidation, cover your ass, and it is bullshit.
I think initially companies are looking to protect their backs.
When she says backs, she means asses.
But if they look at enhanced productivity by the employees being able to get along better, I think that's a bigger payoff.
When she says bigger payoff, she means no messy lawsuits that could lead to expensive settlements.
To respect each other's backgrounds and points of view, because we all have different points of view.
For this genius point, they have to take a class?
You would think it was common sense, but it's not common sense.
Okay, then, give us an example of an issue that these folks need your help with.
Men and women need to learn how to work better together. We think in different ways.
Mercedes, what could be more sexist than that sentence?
I want you to partner with an individual, so you're going to be a pair. Mercedes
is going to expose a real, provable, vast chasm between the sexes. Let's listen in.
I like Wisconsin baseball.
Dude, are you fucking crazy? Talk to her about women things, makeup, periods, Brad and Jen.
The Badgers are pretty cool. I mean, I like their basketball and football program. It's been very good. Baltic coaches are excellent.
She shouldn't talk more knowledgeably about basketball than he does. That's a man thing. She needs to be sensitive to his sensitivity and answer like the cliche she's supposed to be.
We are working.
Exercises like this are the foundation of sensitivity training. But how far would our bullshit class buy into this belief that we need to do whatever we can to better understand the opposite sex?
The way to be sensitive to a woman in the workplace is to understand what it's like to be a woman in the workplace. How do we do that as men? Because they come in different
We know we have no shame. But look at it this way. Maybe they've always wanted to do this, and now they've got the, hey, I have that same bra.
And how do you feel right now as a female in the workplace?
Not bad. I don't know, I can't look around without seeing something poking out here.
Do you feel insecure in that Mark's chest is a bigger chest than your chest size? Do you feel like people might compare that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Sometimes you have to show up showing some legs. Sometimes you have to show up in heels and a skirt because that's what's expected of you.
I know, it's ridiculous.
For a woman, maybe, but on you, it looks great. Whoa, baby.
We're going to talk like girls. We're going to gab like gals. This is to further help you understand what it's like to be a woman in the workplace.
Michelle, how do you keep that great figure of yours?
You know, it's something that I really don't pay a lot of attention to. I just stay active, and it just seems to work.
Paulina, I heard you're trying to have a baby.
Yeah, actually, I'm pregnant.
You are? Congratulations! Oh my gosh, Paulina, that is so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very much worried about having the baby, you know, having to take time off.
Now, you disappear from the office for 6 months, and you can be replaced, and then where would I be with a kid? I feel horrible. My back is killing me. My stomach is killing me.
So these random guys already empathize with female problems. If these guys went to a real training session, what the fuck would they have to gain, aside from much nicer footwear?
You will go along to get along because you've been trained to go along to get along from the tiniest kindergarten student. At some point that has to stop. At some point you do have to have personal principles because then you can get talked into anything.
Hey, what about our angry guy?
Thank you so much. Come on up.
I don't care to do this.
You don't care to do that. Okay, well, that's
great. Angry guy has refused to be whipped into submission. He has refused to shit on his own dignity. But we're glad we can still bully him into signing a release to be on our show, or he wouldn't have made our point. We can stand up to this bullshit.
The way to get people to get along with each other is not to make them aware that everyone has knowledge of these stereotypes about them that are lurking in the back of their subconscious. That could actually make people more hostile, more suspicious of each other.
In fact, according to the Washington Post, some companies that have had their employees attend mandatory sensitivity training show up to a 10% decline in management positions for women, blacks, Latinos, and Asians. Why? If hiring women or minorities leads to an increased risk of lawsuit, then companies are less likely to hire women or minorities. So what does sensitivity and diversity training accomplish?
The empirical evidence that this actually does anything is pretty much non-existent.
So how much do these trainers charge for their do-nothing expertise?
Anywhere from $3,000 for a half a day to $5,000 for a full day of training.
Do all bullshit jobs pay better than real jobs?
Oh, and of course, that also depends on the number of participants.
One reason the training is often so ham-handed and often counterproductive is partly because there aren't a lot of people who really know what they're doing. Anyone can set up a shop and say, hey, I'm a diversity consultant, pay me thousands of dollars, very lucrative, to come and do a diversity workshop.
It's gotten to the point where it is ridiculous. And everyone knows deep down that it is ridiculous. But everyone's afraid to say anything.
Hey, tell him, wait to meet the giant, climbing up a beanstalk? What'd you pull a thorn out of his paw, huh? If you're in warfare, there are two ways to stop people from killing you. You can disable your enemy from shooting at you, or you can give yourself a bulletproof shield. You two homos have been together for 30 years. Where's the white tiger? I want to get a couple of puppets, put a fucking act together, huh? If you have to worry about stopping the whole world from hurting your feelings, that means you have to try to control the whole world, and that means trampling on the First Amendment. You know, Pat, if you had a pair of antlers, you guys would look like Rocky and Bullwinkle. And by the way, Teller, Grumpy and Sleepy called to putting the gang back together. It's a lot cheaper and fairer just to build yourself an emotional shield. You guys like your shitty ventriloquist stack, only the wrong dummies talking. Huh. Hey, tell her, the Walters can't talk. You must get the best parking spaces. So we invested in insensitivity training. Once a week, we've been bringing in